Welcome back, guys. You are locked in again with Mushin Karate, myself, Jamal, the 30th co-host, the gaffer, Mr. Gavindbailey.
Come on, back like I never left.
Come on. So today's episode, we are discussing the athletes who had already locked down their Olympic qualification. However, that may be due to change, just due to the effects of COVID-19. But these are the athletes, nevertheless, that we will be discussing today. We're going to be starting with the female lightweight competitors.
Yeah. So as we said before, for those who don't know, again, 5 weights usually, Olympics is down to 3. So in females, you usually have minus 50, minus 55, minus 61, minus 68, plus 68. Those are all in kgs. So obviously convert that if you're in a country where you don't use kgs. The Olympics, 55 is the lightest. So you got your minus 55s and your minus 55. Again, from visuals, we know different weights, different attributes. So your 50s, minus 50s are going to be a bit more faster, a bit more agile on your feet than your minus 55. But when it comes down to it, that doesn't even matter. You're going to be put together. So if that means you bulk up a little bit for the Olympics, then that's what you do. So if we look at the first name on the list, Serap.
Yeah, we're looking at Serap Ozcelik, a minus 55 from Turkey.
And let's just say, I'm not going to lie, her points total is amazing. So
yeah.
when you look at the numbers,
ridiculous, isn't it?
It's what? 5 digits, 11,000. So I can't even find adjectives to describe that kind of number, because if you look at her other combatant who's in minus 50, who holds the qualification spot at the moment, they're on about 500.
Yeah.
So realistically, job done. Yeah. And I've seen her live. I've seen her for many years, and one thing that comes to mind is the consistency.
Yeah. Speaking of consistency, let's get into some of her stats, because we're looking here at her all-time podium percentage is at 79.4%. And we can see that the average for the minus 50 category is 38.2%. So she's more than doubling that. I mean, like, actually, never mind that. The average of the top pound for pound, top 10 female athletes, pound for pound in regards to performance percentages, the average there is 64.3. Even then, she's still at 79.4. Like, in regards to consistency, she's so ahead of the curve.
And it's come from juniors, because I remember she was doing this kind of performance at juniors. And then even if you look between like 2019 and 2020, her podium percentage is going up. I know we had a reduced season, but 100% podium percentage, which means that when she is getting to these competitions, she's prepared mentally, physically. She's in the right zone. So she's found her formula to get her there. Yeah. And again, being ex-fighters ourselves, we know it's a hard formula to crack, because some days you think you've got it, and that one thing can go wrong in your routine, or a lapse. Again, we're talking millimeters, we're talking seconds, we're talking referees decisions, we're talking reviews, could all throw it out the window. But 100% podium percentage for last year is fantastic.
It's crazy. I mean, we have to be careful looking at 2020, because obviously it wasn't a full season and it was cut short. And I think that's where the data from 2019 comes in really handy, because even though it was 2 years ago, and it's crazy to think that it was the last full season that everyone had, and even just looking at 2019, her podium percentage was 83.3. Again, that's even ahead of the top 10 pound for pound, because the average there is 61.9, which again is ridiculous.
But just thinking of minus 50s, because I know it's the same on minus 60 or all the male competitors. Do you feel that as sort of you get older, it's a bit harder to maintain that low weight? Because obviously it's the people that are in there generally, the stigma is as you grow older and as you age a bit, you get a bit heavier, let's say. Well, clearly she must be sit low as a walking weight, under 50, to be able to have periods where she doesn't train as intense, and maybe go up a little bit, fluctuate, but still be able to cut down consistently, through the year, spring, summer, winter, again, year after year after year. Do you think that plays a factor in it?
Do you know what, bro? I'm just still so gassed over the consistency, Like, because do you know what it is? I'm so sorry, but I just preed it, and we're talking 10 medals out of 12 events, like.
And this is what I'm saying. I think this is evidence that someone who performs time again. Some people will have high percentages, but again, if you're not being out there competition after competition, it's kind of easy to peak for 4 events a year. Well, 10 out of 12 it's like robotic, if you want to say that. Like, she knows her techniques, she knows her bankers, she knows her winning environment, she knows the setup for her techniques, she knows her competitors. Because again, when you're going head to head with someone, again, it's you and them on the 8x8. You've got your coach who supports you. But again, the more you compete is the more footage and the more you can be analysed. And I mean, we're just doing a snippet of the analysation that goes on. Because from experience, when you are a full-time athlete or you are at the pinnacle when you're getting support and funding, there is so much analysis that you've got access to.
Yeah.
You've got fight footage, you've got statistics like what we can supply. You've got people who train with that person who you know, who can give you insights to their training. And I think to be able to be that consistent is almost like she's waiting for a challenge. Like she's mastered what's around her.
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
maybe waiting for a younger athlete to step up eventually and be able to dethrone her. Or she could just call it a day, take the pads off and say, all right.
Yeah, on a Floyd one.
But who can say anything?
Nah, for real. And do you know what? We should have done this at the beginning. But even if we look at like her accolades, her actual achievements, we're talking, you know, junior continental bronzes, two junior European golds. She got a junior world silver. She was junior world champion. 3 Series A bronzes, 5 golds at Series A. K1, 5 bronzes, 7 silvers, 14 golds. Continental Europeans, 5 bronzes, 2 silvers, 4 golds. World Championships, 1 bronze, 1 silver, 1 gold. Dirty.
She's going to need a room for them medals.
Dirty.
She's going to need a time capsule.
Mad techie.
And this is what I'm saying. It's like, for me, when I look at that CV without speaking to her personally, I know that this is it for her. This is what she does. Like, she might do other things, but she excels. She enjoys this. She enjoys competing. She enjoys the training, the process. Everyone talks about this process and being on a process. You have to love the process if you really want to be this consistent.
Yeah, 100. And even if you look at the percentage of the percentage that she makes finals out of her medal winning performances, yeah. So out of all the performances that she's had that were at podium level, so resulted in her getting a medal, 72% of them times she made the final. Do you know what I mean? So it's not a bronze bomber situation. No. Like, no, she's final standard.
And
like,
again, as you saying that, when you look at performance, it's like on a cold Monday morning in France, she can get through the rounds, get to that final hurdle and overcome. On a summer's day in Azerbaijan, she can pull that same performance.
And is winning nearly 70% of her finals as well.
And that's what I'm saying. It's
nearly 70%.
She's on a roll. She's got the confidence. When she gets there, she believes in her performance. She believes in her technique. When she does feel like she is in a bit of doubt and she looks around to that corner, she believes in the guy feeding her the information because the bond is strong. Or should I say girl? I can't really remember who sits in, but I'm pretty sure it might be a female.
Yeah, I believe so.
They believe in the bond, and it's like, wow, it's like a Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson. It's a match made in heaven, it should result in an Olympic medal at least. From what the stats are telling me.
I would definitely say so. Like, let's look at her scoring for a second, because we see that in 2020 she scored 77 points in total. Again, the average of the top 10 pound for pound was 66. She's averaging 19.3 points a competition in 2020. And again, it wasn't a full year, but even then, to be averaging 19.3, even when we come down to 2019, she was averaging 16.4. Actually, matter of fact, Serap actually scored the most points in 2019 out of every single competitor. She scored 197 points. Ridiculous.
I think the stat that screams the most for me is the conceding.
She's conceding, bro.
Because everyone who knows karate knows karate. For those who don't, obviously there's 3 different point scores. You can have a 1 point score, 2 point score, 3 point score. So effectively, you can, let's say, get kicked in the head, and that's 3 points. In 2019. She conceded an average of 3.2%. That means going through maybe 4, 5, 6 rounds and maybe getting kicked in the head once. Yeah. Or even still, that probably means she's got such a good head kick defense that those are probably 3 punches that she's conceded.
And I think what's so impressive as well is that the averages of the conceded points has been taken from the athletes who average the most points per competition. And what happens is the athletes that score the most points usually concede the most points because they take the most risks. So you can see that the average of the top 10 pound for pound conceding is 5.4%. but even then, she's still at 3.2. Like, so that shows the levels. Like, even within the top 10, even at the top of the sport, there's still levels, because she's scoring the most points, she's taking the most risks, but she's also conceding less than everybody else that even scores on her level as well.
It's the only way I can equate it, if we're just looking at raw data with no footage, is the people that she's meant to beat, she beats well, because they're not scoring, and she, by the 8 points leads that we've got here as a stat, 7. She's just wiping them out.
Yeah, 7.
And
wow.
From my knowledge of her repertoire, that's more than likely head kicks. I've seen her hit that double front leg head kick multiple times.
Techie. Yeah.
So much that it should be imprinted in people's brain to defend against that, but they don't.
Yeah.
Just bam bam. Yame, go back to the line and concede for 3 points, and it's like, okay, that's one facet of your game. But then when it gets to the crunch and she's against the others who are in that top caliber of her weight division, she's still cranking out results and maybe only leaking a little to them.
Yeah.
So then the gap in performance is large, the gap in confidence is large, the gap in just general knowledge of the fight game must be large enough for her to be this consistent. Because personally, if I fight someone and they catch me with something, I'm trying to make sure you never catch me with that again.
Yeah.
Even if it's within the same fight. Let them go home and reflect on it and look at the data and look at the visuals and look for the setup. But she's consistently coming out that double leg, bam, bam. Like,
the thing is, all of her banker techniques are so reliable. Like, she's got this Jordan Gakazuki, the one with the step through, and she's got mad ring craft as well. You feel me? So she just be trapping people all day. Like, they literally just be following her, and she just springs. And like, she gets sensu nearly every time, like, with that technique. Do you know what I mean? And when people are waiting for it, she's got a wicked Chudan Gak as well. So when she wants to, she just drops under. But the bankers are just so reliable, especially that Jordan Gakazuki. Like, she takes that off everyone.
I don't even need the clip. I can see it from memory. But you're thinking, there's no. It's clean. Like, it meets the criteria for scoring the point, and it's almost a 4 flag technique consistently.
Yeah, it's rapid.
And as we know, at the highest level, it's hard to catch 4 flags on everything. I think we can just yam it there, because adjectives are not enough really.
It's true.
She's got the title, she's got the consistency, she's got the facts, the figures, and to me, every time I see her, she seems to enjoy the performance. 100%.
But even before we yam it, we have to touch on this podium percentage. World Championships, 60%. Like, come on, man. Actually, let's take a deeper look at that quickly. World Championships. So she's been to 5 World Championships, has taken 3 medals, been in 2 finals, has won 18 World Championship rounds. Like, that holds weight, man. That holds weight.
Serious weight. Like, again, like we was talking before in the intro, and you asked me about Euros or K1s. World Championships, again, is another. The emotion and the anxiety and the want to perform.
It's a different kind of stage. Yeah, it's a different stage.
It's a different beast, and
it's a different stage.
Everybody knows that when you get there, and even if you get to the final and the lights cut on, that's a different beast. Like, through the rounds, you might have 4 or 5 mats going at the same time. It's a shared pressure. Again, the lights are still on, but when you get to that, and like you said, when you're coming out and you're the last name before the bout starts, and you're walking with a bit of that swagger, a bit of that confidence, you're thinking, I can see it in her face. Even the little routine she got with her coach before they leave each other. Like, he knows that she's about to go out there and do business.
Certainly, and again, she's been continental champion, world champion simultaneously at the same time, which again just shows her pedigree. She actually took a silver at the last World Championships.
Japan beat her, was it, in the final? Yeah,
Miho Miyahara, she beat her in the final. But even if you look at her continental level, European Championships, her podium percentage is 91.7.
You might as well say that her Europeans are like test matches in a dojo.
100%.
Because if you're that consistent on the big stage, she must go training sessions not losing.
Bro, the average of all the female competitors that are ranked in the top 10, so that's over 100 of them, the average is 48.8 to medal at continental level. Bro, even pound for pound, top 10 is 71%. 71%. She's at 91%. at European Championships. She can guarantee that medal. She could promise it to someone before she goes. You know what I mean?
And bro, all I'm saying is it's built off of confidence. It's built off of a system. It's built off something that's going on obviously in Turkey with her. Then I think what they will do, or what probably happens, is they look into where she's being coached, how she's being developed, what's her road to this success, and then you just try to replicate that. And I mean, if another country could get that blueprint, then I think it will produce combat that is of the highest level. And I think one stat that I saw before we left, talking about averages, was the first round losses in both 2019 and 2020 are 0. She never comes out and starts slow. How can you that consistently over, let's call it 16 events, never have a slow start? And that's down to your pre-fight routines, that's down to your warm-up, that's down to your travel to the stadium, that's down to your kit, having the correct kit, that's down to the night before sleep, that's down to the night before's meal, not even your breakfast, the night before's meal. 0 losses.
In the first round?
In the first round.
Yeah, check that.
Do you know what that means? That means every competition I'm going, I'm guaranteed to get points.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So you better just write down some points for me, and by my percentages, you better write down some high points because I'm getting there. But the only thing I think now is when the athlete is this consistent, do you feel there's a bit of bias from the officials in terms of flags? Again, this is only a personal reflection because they know her bankers like we know them. They're looking for them.
They're looking for them.
Does that mean that she could be a bit short or a bit heavy-handed on one and you're likely to give it? I don't know. And again, no one's going to openly admit to bias. But
yeah, I think that's the nature of the game, isn't it? It's the nature of the sport. Do you know what I mean? And we see it often. You know, especially if certain athletes are affiliated either with certain clubs or certain countries that have a status or reputation. Then officials may be more likely, unconsciously probably, but more likely to side with them in like a 50-50 clash or something. We see that often. You see a 50-50 clash, 2 Kazamis, 2 Gakuzukis, bam, but all 4 flags are for the same. What really burns me is when they video review it and then they still say no. Yeah. To my I feel bad. I just feel like,
and that's what I'm saying. And how can you get over that? And I think she's definitely gone through some of those in her time, or some like you'll say decisions that you think are not in my favour. But again, it's the real athlete and it's the real spirit that says, all right, cool, that one's in the bin. Green light now, I'm back into the zone. And I think, again, probably one of my favourite females to watch. Again, even if she is a lightweight, I think that she could bang with the 55. No, she could bang with the 61.
She thought she was fighting team, and she was fighting. I think they were fighting Spain, and she mashed work. I'll be honest.
And that's what I'm saying. At a lightweight, that's very difficult. But it's almost a full package from.
Definitely.
And again, I enjoy watching her. I look forward to watching her again at these qualification tournaments that are coming and on the biggest stage. And I think that she will perform, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah. So the next athlete that we have is Angelica Terliuga from Ukraine, -55 fighter. Again, consistency. If we're talking consistency, on a different level really. I mean, her all-time podium percentage is 54.7. The average of her category is 35.7. So already ahead. 2020 podium percentage was at 75%. 2019 72.7%. The average of the pound for pound top 10 female competitors for 2019 was 61. So if I was her coach, I'd be very happy. And
again, consistent. And we talk about bankers and we talk about consistency and we talk about performance. And I think, again, it's another name that screams off the sheet. And I think if someone's going to do a preview of a competition, it's definitely a name that they figure in to drive some attention and drive people to come and watch. Because, again, another person who's got her bankers that are a bit flamboyant, celebrates them flamboyant, She can get the crowd going. She can bring atmosphere to the event, and again, that links in, I think, a bit more with her performance, and maybe again the link between sort of the flamboyancy and maybe a slightly lower average that doesn't see it to take the number 1 overall slot in this -55 merge section. But again, one of my favourites, and every time she's on the bill, I even love watching the highlights on Insta and Twitter, and people do the little videos, the compilation videos. You know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get the flamboyance and the footwork and the movement and the setup. And then what's great about her in particular is you do see a little insight into the training with the coaches, and you see a few drills. And again, I know people just nab them and try to put them in their routine, but it's not the same when you copy and paste. You know, you need to have that original desire, and I think that she has it in leaps and bounds. And again, high points scored, low conceded, consistent.
Yeah, I think she has that ability to just switch gears as well. She taps into that next level of focus and performance, because you know she's winning 76% of her finals.
And that's what I'm saying. I think
you're betting on her, innit?
If it comes down to it, and again, I'm not really a gambler man or a betting man, but disclaimer, no gambling. Don't like that. But I think that again, I think the similarities between her and Serap are that bankers, she's got 2 or 3 that are 3 points.
Yeah.
So when you are in trouble, you've got something that can wipe the deficit.
Yeah.
Whereas
definitely.
Someone who's got only bankers that are more 1 or 2 points, it's a bit more of a grind.
Yeah, definitely, it's a graft.
What I do see with her is opportunity and creativity in her techniques and her deliveries. And I can remember the video from the Europeans in team when she hit the Turkish girl in the final with the Ura to the back of the head. And it's like that level of creativity brings the game to another level. And again, that probably contributes to why she scores so many points.
The Ura's techie, but you know what? She's got hands, man. Yeah. Like the hands are.
And this is what I'm saying. It falls you into a full sense of
security. 100%.
Let me watch for these, and then next thing you know, the hands are coming, bam, bam.
Because Ami licks you, like, and you're thinking.
And I think what goes well in her favour is obviously she is training a lot with Zaretska, which is, again, and if you're training week in, day out with a high level competitor who again is a bit bigger than you, a bit heavier, it conditions you to be this beast. So when you come back to your own weight and you're fighting, you can almost bully boy tactic as well as be flamboyant, because you've got that in your nature. And I think, a definite face of the sport at the moment. Yeah,
I would say so. And again, just looking at her score in 2019, she was averaging 16.8 points a competition. So let's just round that and say 17. She was scoring 17 points a competition. The average of her category was 9.
So again, as you can see, and I think obviously with the move in the century rule, with the first point being very critical, she's not afraid to go for the big first point.
Yeah, she'll take risk, man. Like her conceding average is higher than the average of her categories. It's at 5.3, and the average of her category is 4.6. But again, when you look at her scoring, it makes sense, because to take the point, she has to take the risks. But any mistake, like you said earlier, that Uruma Wash is almost insurance to rectify.
Yeah, and
to rectify them deficits.
To have that confidence in it means that you can lose Sensu.
Yeah,
and you can go out and you can still feel confident, because everyone knows with the change of the century rule how important it was to get that first point. And then a lot of game plans are derived around getting that first point, holding the first point, and then making sure that you don't lose the century in the last 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas she'll lose it, get up, dust it off, shape with these legs, throw these hands. She's got game plan after strategy to try and compensate. And obviously the percentages show that it does work. And I think for me, it's worked on the high stage. She's worked in teams from performances that I've seen. It works consistently. And again, another one with a solid routine, good training pattern, a good lifestyle that supports her to enjoy her life and enjoy her competitions. Every time you see her at a competition, she's got a smile on her face. No one I think that we'll speak about has that, I don't want to be here. They all want to be here. They all want to perform. They all have the lifestyle and the journey. And I think it shows in her numbers. And again, do I believe that she'll be at the Olympics? If she doesn't make the automatic, which I believe, what is she on? She's on 9,472 points. And the next person to her is on 7,000, which again, in my heart, I say, with the possibility of her having 2 competitions left, that's pretty much a banker.
Yeah.
She will customarily go out and do the Europeans if it is available. I'm pretty sure that her result at the 2019 Europeans, if this one's not available, is strong. So she will pick up points either way. So she can sit and rest and think, okay, let me look at the names who I know are going to be there and the ones who are close by. Let me start developing this strategy over the next 3 or 4 months, so I can go out and I can be that consistent. Because now she's going to go up against Serap, who's ultra consistent. She's going to go up against Wen Xiaoyan, again, disclaimer, apologies if I mess your name up, but who's consistent. She's going to go up possibly against Sara from Iran, who's consistent.
Yeah.
So again, when consistency meets consistency, you need to have that creativity, that spark which she has. You need to have maybe a bit more physicality, which I believe she brings. You need to have a bit more drive.
Yeah.
And again, it's hard to go against because you don't know what's the motivating factors for the others, but I believe she can turn it on.
I think definitely a point of discussion would be she tends to perform very well at a K1 stage.
Yeah.
You know, at a K1 level, she's got 6 bronzes, 3 silvers, 10 gold medals. So in total, that's 19 medals. She's made 13 finals. Her medal percentage at K1s is 51.4%. So she's medaling at more than half of the K1s that she enters. But even more impressive, she wins 27% of the K1s that she enters.
Again, that's high.
Like it doesn't sound it, but you have to, when you contextualize it, we're talking about gold medals. Like she wins 27% of the K1s that she enters.
And if you think, what's an average 100 person per K1?
Yeah.
It's when you do the maths and you start extrapolating the numbers, it's a large number. And to be that consistent across multi-facets, across multi-countries, multiple opponents, it's very difficult.
I think what is interesting though is, you know, she hasn't yet performed at the world stage at World Championships.
Yeah.
And 2018, she had a very good 2018 and 17, especially on the K1 circuit. But it just seems that she's been unable so far to get that performance at a World Championships. You know, European Championships, she's medalled 75%. But I think, them World Championships, 2018. So she's won 2 World Championship rounds.
Yeah, and that is a bit of a concern, and I'm sure her and her coach are looking into that. But then again, I think, if I remember rightly, that 2018 was one by the girl from Poland, who again, everyone would have said was an outsider when you're looking at names on paper, which again, shows that you can just turn up and perform and be the best on that day.
I actually think Angelica's world title is inevitable.
Yeah,
I think so far. Yeah, she's underperformed at her world championship so far, which has been 2016 and 2018. But I do believe, that it's inevitable. I mean, in 2018, she had 4 K1 medals in preparation for that world championships.
And that's what I'm saying. If you look at just the names around or if you look at the athletes that currently sit in the top 10 that actually have taken the gold in the -55 at World Championship, it's not many.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
a consistent number, which means that people are coming in and performing.
Coming in and coming out,
If you do look around the names that are still competing in the top 10 or what we've got at the top 2 at the moment, a lot of them are older than her, which means again, she's trying to learn from every experience that she's gone there, and she hasn't performed the way she's wanted. But what shows is she comes out of that and then she goes to work on the rest of the circuit.
Yeah.
But it's again, that World Championships is always around the same time of year. How can she better her performance in that specific competition?
That was a very good point that you made as well about the -55 category. That there's only 2 competitors ranked in the top 10 that currently have world titles in -55, and that's the Rota from Poland that you mentioned and Sarah Cardin. So people are coming in and out. You really just got to time it on that day.
You just got to be the best, and that's what I'm saying.
You got to be the best person on the day.
I think for her, does that mean, again, I'm only talking from an opinion, does that mean that she needs to maybe sit one out before? Because like we say, if she can put in a 25% gold medal performance at these K1s, does that mean maybe she takes one off before to save that performance to taper? And again, it's about the relationship with your coach and the understanding of her as an athlete, her body, her mindset, what's going to get her to get that thing that she's missing from her CV. Because again, she's still got years to compete in this sport, and she's building that CV. It's a matter of time before.
No, I believe it will come. And what you have to remember is these lot are competing at this level so regularly. Like even a K1 really like levels. Like everyone that competes at a K1, you'd meet at a World Championships anyway. Yeah. So she's fighting at that level like prior to COVID, like month after month. You know what I mean?
And this is what I'm saying. And I think for me, it's how do you balance that with a lifestyle? Again, one thing that when I was competing, it was difficult to. You miss social events, you miss birthdays, you can't go to restaurants and eat because you're cutting weight. Or you can go, but you're not going to be able to eat what you really want to eat because you're cutting weight, unless you've got that formula, unless you've got that system in place. But it works for her, and I think that she just needs to be consistent and needs to figure out it's a missing piece of the puzzle. She's got everything else. She's got the package. She's got the flamboyancy, the characteristic, the charisma to be a top level superstar, which she is.
I see, like, speaking of superstars, I see that she's actually quite big in Ukraine as well. I see she's been doing some adverts and stuff like that. She's about to go clear, man.
And
Like,
this is what I'm trying to say.
She's doing her thing, honestly.
She's got the ability to have the full package, which again, it's very difficult to be able to be a person who the people like and the people warm to, and be able to compete and be able to deliver results. Because again, your fame or your superstar title is only linked to as well as you're performing, as everyone knows. But I'm of no worry that she will pick up, if not a world medal first, before she gets to gold, but she'll get there and thereabouts. And again, as you said, only 2 world championships. When you look at the rest of the people in the top 10, barring maybe 1 or 2, most of them are on 3, 4s and 5s world championships. So again, I believe it will come. It will come. If she stays true, again, maybe she needs to be a bit creative and have a technique reserved for that competition.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows with the video analysis and the data analysis, anything you're showing before, people are going to go home and they're going to watch it on that plane to wherever we're going for that. Yeah, they're going to be studying you. If you hold one back, and when you get there and you just let it go, not everyone's going to be able to adapt their game quickly to your setup, to your execution, to your footwork, and to your pattern. And I think when I compare what I've seen and what I know from combat sports and the industry, that's the keys to winning consistently at the big time. And I want, while we're talking about consistently, might as well give a shout out to Jane Jones, just taking a 3rd European Taekwondo Championship to go along with the reigning world title, to go along with 2 Olympic. Very, very consistent. And again, I've seen her train. I've seen her execute that in competitions, and it's about being able to grow and develop, analyse what everyone's doing and formulate your game plan, but also develop your own game plan because people are doing the same to you. I believe in her.
Yeah. Side note, do you know what I found quite interesting? That looking at about 100 athletes are all ranked in the top 10. On average, people will only get about 2 8-0 clear wins a year. You thought it'd be more, innit? On average, it's 2. I mean, again, top. If we're looking pound for pound, then it's 5. And Angelica, she had 6 in 2019, and what was of 2020 together, she had 6. But I just thought it was quite interesting.
For me, I feel it's a balance that when you think about athletes, the top 10 will be the most consistent. But how do they win consistently? The 2 names we've mentioned so far. Are very much
points orientated.
Like,
they get points.
Some people win on ring craft. Some people win because their fundamental karate is extremely high. Their understanding of distance, space, time, defense is extremely high. So they give nothing away and steal and keep stealing.
They're opportunists.
Yeah, so they're 8-0s. They're not going to get. And again, because that's their foundation of their fight plan. When they get someone who is not of their level, they're not used to going out and being that flamboyant to take those big points. And like you would say, and Angelica can go, if someone's not on her level, she can 15 seconds, 30 seconds that person and move off.
Yeah, it's true. Because when you're fighting someone levels, I don't think you go into the fight thinking, I'm going to wrap them 8-0. A lot of the time, you're just trying to get this W. Yeah. You're trying to get the win.
Or even to be able to adapt, as we were talking in the fight, to be able to say, okay, well, I've hit him banker 1, banker 2. All right, let me try that one that's on the cusp, but it's a bit of a bigger score. Yeah, I've hit him. Yeah. Okay, right, this guy's not my level. But the Angelicas, the Seraps can work that out within maybe 30, 35 seconds. Yeah. Then it's just a free-for-all. All right, cool, boom, boom, boom. The coach is saying, get out of there. Boom, boom, yame, the catch. And you're thinking, how many of these, I'm sure we'll get into the names, but can do that consistently? It's part of their DNA as a fighter. The 2 we spoke about so far, it is, which is fantastic to see.
Definitely. Okay, so moving on to the next fighter, we have Su Yan Wen from Chinese Taipei, minus 55 fighter. Before we even get into her stats, I would like to look at her accolade first, actually. So we see that she has a silver medal at Junior World Championships. At Series A, she's got 1 silver. At K1 level, she's got 9 bronzes, 4 silvers, and 5 golds. Continental level, she has 3 golds, and she has 2 World Championship bronze medals. So, very experienced.
Experienced, consistent performer. Again, as we can see from what I know of like the demographics and stuff, there isn't many events in sort of that region of the world. again, as we move with the times, it's becoming more and more popular. They are making up the competition calendar, but again, it shows that she can come across the pond and deliver consistent results.
That's so important as well, yeah, because I remember like there was a large perception that when you're competing in certain continents, due to the amount of competitors that they are, so you might win a continental title in 3 rounds or 4 rounds, and I think naturally you look down on it with a bit of disdain, like like they only had to win 3 fights for their title, like etc. etc. But the fact that they're coming over and they're wrapping people up, you know.
And that's what I'm saying. 3 World Championships, 2 bronze medals. Like, again, for a younger athlete, it's the platform, it's the springboard. Okay, she's made a few mistakes on the road, but her first one she didn't medal, then she's medalled, then she's medalled. She comes across the pond into the K1s and she's medalled and she's medalled. But she also can go back home
and do that as well.
That,
yeah.
I'm the reason why
you
should be watching me, because I can go over there and do it, but I'll come over there for you as well.
And imagine the role model that she must be for the younger generation of fighters coming up in Chinese Taipei, watching her go over, travel the world and mix it and dominate as well.
And that's what you're saying. It's a high podium percentage, higher than her category, higher than the average. Not as high maybe as the top 10, but again, someone who, when you think about her country, again, I don't know a lot, but how much access to training partners does she have? How much access to training camps does she have on her immediate doorstep? Like, for instance, being in the UK now, we could always go to, say, Scotland or Ireland or Wales, or even across to France or to Belgium, somewhere we can get there within an hour, 2 hours, and we've got a platform of partners to work against. Does she have the same opportunities over there?
Yeah.
Again, then it's a different style of coaching that she's going to get if you ain't got the training partners. But she's putting herself out there, and again, the results are showing that she can do it. And
definitely, and again, capable of switching that gear as well. You know, she's winning 61% of her finals. You know, she's won 8 finals out of the 13 that she's been in.
And that's what I'm saying. It's one thing to get there, another thing to get there and perform. And I think now with the system of finals being on a different day or a bit later in the day, it gives you time to recover and prepare, as opposed to the old school, like round. Again, she can recharge, and that short space of time. It's very difficult to rehydrate, refuel, and refocus, because the goal of everyone going to the competition is to get a medal. Some people will be happy with a bronze medal, but to get to that final and think, okay, switch in, again, take off the autopilot if you was on autopilot. Hand on the handbrake. I'm ready to shift these gears up from 2 to 3 if I need to. If I need to hit 5, because this is a battle, and I think that she's got in there. I remember the first time I saw her with the little Nike badge on her.
Yeah.
I think I didn't even know like karate like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if they're invested in you, you must have something to show. And in that performance, I was like, okay, let me write that name down.
Yeah, she's just a really great fighter as well. You know, she's got excellent distance, like great timing. You know, like.
And that's what I'm saying. I think everyone who we speak about, one facet of their game is
exceptional, isn't it? Exceptional.
But the thing that keeps them in the top 10 and keeps them with high percentages is their other facets are still very high or world level. And again, like we was talking about people coming in and just performing, if all your stars align and all your facets are working at a world level, you can win a world championship. But it's the one who's got a few exceptional, outstanding and world class that will be consistent. Because she might turn up to Italy for an event or to Paris and not really be feeling herself, but her facets and her training and her routines are going to pull her through, and her numbers speak for herself. I mean, to be scoring more than the average for a section and in female kumite is again another testament to how well she delivers.
Yeah, and all her stats are healthy, man. I mean, K1 percentage is above average for all time 2020 and 2019. Podium percentage at World Championships is at 66.7%. The average of her category is 22. Like, it's levels. The average of the top 10 pound for pound is 69. So really, she's there. She's there with the best of the best. Like, she's up there. Percentage at continental level, 75%. Again, that's higher than the average of the top 10 pound for pound. So she really is of that class. She's of that caliber, you know.
I think the most developmental thing that I think is great from the stats that we've got is that her first round losses, so 3 in 2019 and 0 in 2020, which means she saw the errors in her game and the slow start or the inconsistency of the performance earlier in the day. Because don't forget, generally your early rounds are a bit hard if you time difference, time zones. Again, it's a big minefield.
Yeah, you're acclimatizing.
Because we're from a European region and a lot of the events are in Europe, it's an hour difference, 2 hours. So 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning to me is not really much difference. But when you're on the other side of the world, and you've got to do that. Does that mean you have to travel 2-3 days early to acclimatise? What does it mean for? And again, that was pretty much the old school way of thinking. Is there a modern? Because now obviously not everyone travels with the go readies and the suits for the
finals.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And she's probably traveling with a team that do the massages, that make her exercise at the relevant times of day to get customized, like you see on predominantly the UFC embedded series. You see them shaking it out when they get there, and you see them trying to acclimatise. And she's got all the gear, no doubt, the game readies and the equipment to soak her body and to get her into the right physicality for competition. And I think that's what showed top level.
It was no surprise when she qualified, and she has a great story. 2015, she took her under-21 World Championship silver medal, and then at senior World Championship level, she's taken two bronzes back to back at 2016 and 2018 World Championships. So,
and that's a problem. And again, it's a problem. A lot of people have that transition from junior to senior.
Yeah.
Then you go from a big fish in a pond to a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
And again, her position right now, she unfortunately doesn't have a European Continental Championship, but as we know, she's already got that in the bag. So she's about just over 1,300 points gap between her and the person who could possibly take her spot. So that means for her, but with her strong consistency in K1s, if this does go ahead, she's fine. Like, she's not in a position where she's thinking, I've really got up my game on this. That game level to her is consistent, she'll be all right. So again, it's for her to give away when you look at it that way. And I don't think she will. I think that she'll be consistent, and I think she'll go to her bankers and she'll score her points. And as we see, she's not going to lose in the first round according to records. So she's going to bank some form of points. It's just how does the draw suit her? Who is the draw spit out to her in what order? And can she just keep pushing through to get to that day? Her coaches might formulate and say, we need to win 3 rounds. She wins her 3rd round. Again, now that bit of pressure's off and you can go and really be yourself. I mean, she could go all the way, which history dictates that she does get there or thereabouts. And I'm excited to be able to see. Again, we know now with no fans in stadiums and stuff at the moment, we don't know the situation when this is, but again, if she makes the medal matches, those are generally televised or you'll have access to them, so you can see performances. So you can see where she's picked back up off, because again, a year layoff almost is not ideal, especially in a combat sport, especially when you was peaking or you was on your way up. It's very difficult to put that down and pick it back up, but I'm confident.
Yeah. The next fighter that we have is Sara Bahmanyar from Iran, -50. Again, let's just start with her medals overview. Junior Continental bronze. She's got Junior Worlds bronze and silver. At Series A, she's got 2 silvers. K1 level, she's got 2 bronzes, 2 golds. She's taken a Senior Continental silver and a bronze at World Championships as well. So again, another very experienced athlete. Good consistency there. All-time podium percentage is 26.9, which is below the average of her category. But is an athlete that wins the majority of her finals. So she wins 50% of her finals. So again, you would definitely be voting that way.
But then again, when I think about athletes, especially from sort of Iran and stuff, especially the females, its consistency is not as consistent as you would say maybe the Turkish female athletes, or as you would say maybe the French female athletes. And I don't know obviously what goes on in the camp, but it seems like the male and females are kind of separate camps, and then obviously they bring them together to compete. But from what I've seen of her, very hardworking, very
definitely.
Very intelligent fighter.
She takes points as well, man. I mean, like, 2019, she scored 123 points. She was averaging 12.3 points a competition. And I think if you're in double digits anyway, then that's healthy. If you're averaging double digits per competition, healthy.
Yeah. And I think for me, we talk about athletes that perform consistently, then maybe don't perform on the world stage. But again, podium percentage at World Championship, 100%. That means when she does get to the big stage, she can turn it on for the big occasion. Again, maybe the consistency of coming out of sort of the Middle East and going to maybe a European competition, or going to, I don't know if she's been to, she'll definitely go to the Asian ones, but anywhere else that is, they travel. How does that mess with, obviously, because again, when you have them sort of in their country and at their home soil, there is a bit more, the culture is the same, the kind of the dietary requests are the same. But then when you're taking them out to these places, I know we've gone to some places and you're thinking, what is this I've got to eat? It messes with your performance. But
Yeah, 100%. But even looking at that World Championships performance in 2018, where she took her bronze, that was her first senior worlds.
That's what I'm saying. Very young athlete.
Won 5 rounds and had a current under-21 World Championship silver as well. I'm sure coaches anticipated the
Yeah, they're projected because I know
Yeah.
that country is very competitive. I know that
yeah,
the national championships.
the talent pool is so deep in it, and I think coming from a nation as well where the talent pool isn't necessarily as deep, there's not as many competitors or just naturally like competitors in categories. So like you turn up to an Iranian national championships and you're getting 5-6 rounds.
Yeah, but you're getting equivalent though, but it's quality as well. You're getting
quality as well.
You're getting high level 5-6 rounds. Like everyone knows you can turn up probably to your national, and if you're ranked, you can coast maybe the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and depending on the nation that you're from as well, you know, some nationals, depending on your category at a national championships, you might only get 2-3 fights.
It's in total. And imagine if you're in a weaker nation where you can coast 1 or 2. That means your final is your only fight.
So the quality of life, the final is really your only test the whole day.
Yeah, so your quality of fight is poor. But again, when we talk about competitive within the nation, that puts a pressure on international competition because, again, they'll probably travel with a squad of 2-3 athletes per section. Yeah. And if I'm the one who's in the number 1 jersey and the number 2's there, they know.
Yeah, and the number 2's are hungry. They're ready for your spot. And even after the number 2, you got juniors that are coming up. Like, you got juniors that are coming up, that are performing at levels, executing elite level techniques, that are showing elite level tactics and strategy, that are ready.
And that's what I'm saying. And when you've got that caliber at depth, there's less room for error. So if you do make a mistake, you might be dropped from the next trip.
Yeah, trust me.
Or if you do something outside of the sport that they don't really like, you'll be dropped from the next trip. And it's like, I can plug you with someone else who can probably deliver that same result. Whereas in some other countries, you can't be pulling people out like that because you know
they hold too much value.
And I guess at the end of the day, everything comes down to funding. Medals are from funding. So if you've got someone who's consistently performing but a bit of a wild child, you'll keep them in if you ain't got no one to replace. Yeah. But again,
if you've got that kind of pool, it reminds you, innit, everyone's dispensable.
That's what I'm saying. Like what?
No one's irreplaceable.
Turn up to the bus late. See you later. That's what I'm saying. It could be. Again, that's an extreme example. But yeah, if you turn up to the bus late, what do you think this is?
Bro, I would have got taken off bare teams then. Look how, you know, so my time management is not litty.
And this is what I'm saying again. Her percentages are most of the time in line, if not just below. But again, it's how hungry do you stay, especially when emotionally it's difficult to know that you can be dropped at a hat. It doesn't give you no security, and everything needs security. Sometimes you need that extra security to perform your best. You need to know that, okay, my whole life isn't riding on this next performance. It's okay. And that will give you the unleash your shackles to perform. Whereas if you know that everything I've got is on this, the pressure could mount. And again, the pressure, the lights, the languages, the crowds, when we had them, it can shrink the greatest athlete. But again, if we talk about her ability to score points, and again, when I think of her, I think of banker is that Gakuzuki. Whether we're going Chudan or we're going Jodan, it is phenomenal, and it scores against the best and the worst. So, what more can you say? It's like she's got the front leg feint, which again fends people off. Can use it as a scoring technique again, which is why she scores such a high amount of points.
Yeah.
But then when it gets nitty gritty and you're against that top level competitor, the long arms, the understanding of distance and time, and suckering people in, it's what keeps her consistent and keeps her winning through rounds. And
you know, she doesn't have no first round losses as well for 2019 and 2020. I feel like she really turns it on against elite level competitors as well. Like, she knows how to raise their game. From the perspective of performance, super techie. That backhand Jordan Gakuzuki, the timing on it is immense. Like, she don't miss. Like,
and this is what I'm saying. And to be able, that is a product of repetition.
Yeah, repetition and even muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
She's going in between, like, doubles.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, a lot of fighters now will wait for the second punch and go, but she's going in between. Like, the reaction time, the timing is so intricate. Like you can tell, like you said, repetition, just drilling.
And I think that the timing aspect and the delivery is what takes someone from good to great.
To great.
So
yeah.
especially I think when you're progressing talent at a young age and you give them the fundamentals and they understand and they can deliver, and then the coach sits and he can micromanage from the coach's chair and tell them the techniques. But once they get to that stage where it's okay, everyone can do that. It's about your understanding of the timing and the distance, and people put timing as a big myth, but I believe it's just about anticipation. If you've done enough research and then you're confident enough, you can anticipate to a millimetre of a second to know when you need to deliver your technique.
Yeah.
And the ones that can are the ones that do. The ones that don't are the ones that struggle.
Yeah.
Because in the biggest scene there and in bronze medals matches and finals, we've seen her be able to wait for that opportunity because she knows it's coming and recognise it. Because it's one thing to be able to wait for it, but when you see it, you need to know that this is when I go.
Do you know what? That's a great point, because she actually has very great patience as well.
And it's not easy.
Like she'll wait, and you know, she's one of them fighters that I don't think necessarily will force the error.
No.
But if you make an error, she's capitalizing.
And that's
she's
what I'm
punishing.
saying. And the waiting part of it is very anxious because you know what you're waiting for.
Yeah, even there's even strategy behind that, because the longer she's waiting, the more anticipation, the more apprehension that's building up between her and her opponent. But she has the discipline and the mental strength to be able to stay composed, stick to her game plan. She's got good pulls, good pressure, good distance, and in essence actually does force the error in that way.
Yeah.
You know, because she puts her opponent in a position where at the end of the day they're going to feel like they need to attack at a time where they don't really want to, but they feel like they have to out of necessity.
Yeah.
And then she just picks them off. And once she takes censure and she goes up, she just keeps picking.
Keeps picking. And then she's got a very unique style of being able to be physical and break up the fight. And that comes down to fight management, which is a big thing of any sport. But in terms of, particularly of fighting, you need to know the pockets of when you're at your best. So she might know within that first 20 seconds, this is my phase of working the fighter out. Apply the pressure, use that front lead leg, left leg that she does, flick it up there a few times. What is the general reaction? What am I gauging for? What will be my tell this round? And then I've got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Now I just set it and I sit and I wait, and then it's there. Boom, I take it. And then in the end, when the other fighter does get a bit anxious because time is going, they need to get the point. How am I breaking up the fight without taking them warnings? Because everyone knows you can just run in on someone and break up the fight, but referees are looking to give you that category 2 and say, listen, fight. This is not a holding. It's not a dance. Yeah. But she does it in a cunning way.
Yeah, she does. And I feel like with her, it must be so satisfying to sit on her chair and watch her get through rounds, because the strategies are so concrete, but on top of that, her level of adaptability as well. Yeah. And you see that a lot of the time when she's adapting, it's off her own initiative, it's off her own instincts, and she has that ability to switch. And again, I just love, especially when she's up. You know, it's a different story when she's down and she has to apply the pressure, and even then she can take points. Well, scored 123 points in 2019. What's that? She was averaging again, 12.3, like we said earlier. So she can take points anyway. But when she's up, being able to draw an opponent in, suck them in, spring, catch them, but like you said, also knows when to get physical as well. Yeah. Knows when she's in a fight and she's thinking, okay, I might have to slug this one out a little bit towards the end, but she's willing and doesn't get lost in that scrap either. Yeah. Like, she'll slug with you, but don't get it twisted. Like, she's still thinking about the W. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So when it's time to pull away and move, and she's there, and it's mad difficult to take points off her as well. But I think she concedes low.
I think an analysis from us, or a perspective that I think our fans will really, or our subscribers, our viewers, our listeners really want to know, if you are now the coach sitting in the opposite corner, what's your 3 pointers to win this fight? Fighting Sara.
Boy, do you know what it is? I think for me, it's definitely a case of having to force the error, because I think she fights her best when she's in her comfort zone. When you allow her to fight her fight, that's when she capitalizes, and when she sucks people in to her game plan, and then it's like a snowball effect. It's like she takes 1 point, and then you think, okay, she's up now, we'll have to do this, but she's already anticipated that is your next response to this current scenario.
Yeah.
Response to that, she takes another one. Yeah, and then she goes back to the first, draws you back in, takes another one.
Yeah.
So I think you have to force her into a position where she's not feeling comfortable. And again, just really force the error. And definitely, I'll be honest, when it comes to Sarah, your best bet of beating her is to take Senshu. I'll be honest, if she gets Senshu, she's a problem. When she takes Senshu, she's a problem.
All right, let's get a bit deeper.
Go on.
She's already got Senshu.
Yeah.
There's been an altercation, and the ref's called Yame, and your athlete now is walking back to you for that. You might only have a sentence or 2 sentences for an instruction.
Yeah.
What's your words?
Chudan, I'll be honest. I'm going to say drop under.
Yeah.
Because a lot of her techniques are Jodan, and she does have a Chudan Gak on her. Yeah. But the Jodan Gakuzuki is definitely a banker. The timing on it is immense, but a lot of competitors, and especially a lot of the female fighters that I see, there is a collection of them that do go Chudan really well, but a lot of fighters at the moment, they're Jodan, they're head punchers, and not that I think that she headhunts, but when she's countering, she tends to counter Jodan.
That's her go-to.
So if you're saying, how many seconds did you say?
Well, it's still early in the fight. Let's say
it's still early.
Yeah, let's say we got a minute's gone, so you still got a minute left, yeah?
Yeah.
You lost the Senshu. Bear in mind, so what we know, again, got that lead leg. She's got the Jodan Gak, the Chudan Gak, good mat management, be able to get physical. Again, so your element is that, okay, well, the first plan's out the window because we lost the Senshu, but now you're telling me to go Chudan again. And we would hope, as an elite level coach, being in this scenario, you and your athlete have worked on a program of Chudan scoring techniques, especially with Chudan setups for the Chudan scoring techniques. Because again, with this level of detail, we would have to formulate a training routine or training drills to accommodate that. But I believe in that tactic. If I was your fighter, I can take that Chudan and know and deliver what we've planned.
What are you telling her?
It's difficult. Okay, so for me, again, from what I've seen, I'm hoping that my fighter is a bit ambidextrous, could go both ways. I've seen her predominantly in that one stance.
Left stance.
Yeah? So let's change up the angle, And again, on top of changing up the angle, I want you to change up the mat positioning. So again, most of her counters is middle mat.
Yeah, it is.
And
direct line as
well.
direct
line. Or generally they're to a favourable side. So her back is generally towards her coach, or she's in a comfort area of the mat. We need to break that up. We need to get her uncomfortable. And I think by switching stance, first of all, again, but I need you to switch stance and capitalise quickly, because I believe she's a good reader of the fight. So if we switch for too long, she'll be able to pick up the pattern, and it's a new pattern.
She'll adapt.
So I need you to force and continue with the pressure and the pull, and then switch and offer one pull, deliver. And if that be the Kazami, if that be a head kick, I need you to switch and deliver. And I feel it could unsettle her, because again, predominantly, as a fighter who used to fight left stance and then obviously got a foot injury, has changed to right stance, I can understand on how to go both ways. And what I'm looking for you is to switch. And even if that means you tap that front leg, again, when you're same stance left to left and you tap that front leg, it's going out. But if I change stance and I tap your front leg, it's going in. So again, how well is she going to cope with that change? And then I just need you to spring and get the point. And I believe it could work.
Yeah.
But then again, we go back into that dynamics then, okay, say we do get the point. We know what she's going to come with now. Now we're drawing her out, and we're drawing the predominant counter fighter out. Again, how are we playing cat and mouse with this counter fighter?
Yeah, because she is a counter fighter.
And definitely. In that instance, I want you to use your in crop. But again, if we can keep you central to where I am, I can be your comfort blanket in the back, because I'm looking at foot positioning, I'm looking at distance, I'm looking at timing, and you just focus on delivering. And I think you need to get to that level with your coach and that level with your athlete to be able to do that. But I definitely think, for me, switch stance. Let me see what she's got.
Yeah.
Let me see if she can defend other stance.
Just a side point. I feel like, especially when we're talking about counter fighters, I feel like a lot of people underestimate and sleep on their ability to take points.
Yeah.
Like, again, we said that she averages 12 points a competition, yeah? That was in 2019 and 2020. I think sometimes when you're fighting a counter fighter, you think it's easier to be up. Yeah. But now you've got to deal with that beast. Yeah. Like, you've rattled the cage, and now you've got to survive for another remaining however long it is.
And I think for someone as a counter fighter, once they start going up and they get after you, that's when they retreat back to their comfort zone. Because once they had to come out and get the lead,
Yeah,
they're definitely letting it go now.
You start forgetting all the tools that they had. Because when they're in their routine and she's just landing these Jordan Gakuzukis, all of a sudden she goes down and she's bringing up the leg, and you're forgetting that she even had these things as a part of her arsenal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's catching people by surprise. I've seen her catch people with kicks and they're looking at their coach like they don't know what they got hit with.
And again, that comes down to your networking, your setup. And I think the countries with the better ones will flourish. The countries with the better environment for training, like you say, consistency maybe not there again. Performance on the big stage, yeah. But before that competition, she can have a training camp with top 4 athletes who, in their own right, could probably go and compete for another nation and be the number 1 fighter. But I've got that in my back garden, and I'm getting it. And we go into camp, and the camp is about me, and we're getting me ready. So now, boom, I can go and I can do what I need to do. And I think, again, when we look at her points, so obviously because she competes in the Asia Championships, they've already had their championship. So her only opportunity to gain more points will be this K1 if it does go ahead. But I'm guessing if it doesn't, we've got Bettina Plank from Austria who is snipping on her heels. So again, Bettina Plank, European, got the opportunity of a European competition. If not, she's got a strong showing from her last 2019 European, which is going to bump her points, which means that this K1 could be crucial. So again, how are Iran preparing Sara to be ready to go out and get some points? And that's what her main focus will be now, because I mean, she is the second ranked -50 if we take out the host nation, which means she's in a great position. But a year off, again, travel, everyone knows about travel restrictions. Again, coming from, what's the travel restrictions from Asia into Europe? Again, that could affect participation in this event. It's all things that we need to consider, or they need to consider with this COVID regulation. But would she be in a strong position? Yes, because if everything locked today, her ticket is almost booked. But again, I think for her best case scenario is the K1 is on, she does well, and then the Europeans are on, and it gives Bettina Plank an opportunity to go out and have to replicate that previous performance to secure them points, because again, it's like a freebie. If I don't have to perform, and I'm going to get backdated points. But I think that she does well, and I like to see her in that mix again at -50, but the ability to scrap will make her a challenging bout for the -55 fighters in that Olympic section. Because they're not going to come out and bully her, because I will not let you intimidate me, because I can mix it with you.
But you know what? I don't think any of the -50s that we spoke about today are I don't see them getting bullied, even by the -55s. Who we've spoken about specifically today in -50, that's Serap, and Sarah's the second.
Yeah.
Is the second, yeah?
But I don't think that the physicality of the bullying will affect them, but I think the physicality of the impact could start to affect them. Because again, if you're taking Jodan Gaks, Chudan Gaks, body kicks, heavier weights that you're not used to, I know that you can do all your planning into that. It's a different beast once you add on all the elements. Like, even if we kind of extrapolate and look at like UFC, Israel Adesanya stepped up a weight, and again, in his domain, you can't really beat him up. Like, Gaslam did a good job of bruising him up, but he's okay. But once you step up, the fear of that continuous battering.
I hear that, but I think if we're talking semi-contact WKF karate, I don't feel like that.
Do you feel like they're protected enough?
They're protected enough in it, because they're not banging like the 90s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And we got armor, body armor, etc., etc. I hear what you're saying. It's actually all the little knocks and niggles that take away your energy. It's like getting into a clinch and a man's like shoulder hits your chest, or like his knee's gone into your thigh, or even in them clinches, it can be draining.
And like we say, I think that because of the caliber, they will be okay 1 round, 2 round, 3 round. But when we start getting later into the day, it's a different recovery process from these, and especially if you're not used to it. It could. I'm not saying that generally that favours the heavier weight in there, but it is a big factor in
definitely. I would say what works in her favour is, again, the talent pool that she comes from, that we spoke about earlier. Not just having a large talent pool, that's a talent pool of quality. So like we said at our national championships, that's 5 rounds. That might have been 5 scraps back to back. Do you know what I mean? Just because the quality is that high, and because she's a counterfire, she's used to being on the back foot. She's used to people coming forward and coming for her. So I think that will definitely work in her favour. But you're right. You are right in regards to the difference weight and how that will affect their durability within the fight and longevity, consistency, competing like round after round as well. Like it's all right for one round, maybe two, but can you maintain it for the third and fourth and fifth?
But again, I think from a neutral, I would love to see her in that mix because again, she brings a different element because we've got, at the moment, we've got Serap who is consistent, good bankers. We've got Angelica who's a bit more flamboyant, and then adding in this kind of grounded beast who's gonna scrap and gonna make it a bit more ugly adds another element to someone who's just watching and trying to appreciate the sport. Because then those flamboyant fighters, now you've got to change your game because it's not gonna be I'm gonna try to outscore you. It's gonna be I'm gonna wait and capitalize on
100%.
which means you have to tighten up. Like, again, I don't want to see those previous two mentioned tighten up too much.
Too much.
You don't get to see.
Yeah, what they do. But I think even as a fighter that takes a lot of risk, as a risk taker, she's definitely not. She's definitely a fighter that I would recommend that you take less risk with, because she's just. I don't want to say perfect, but she's just that good at capitalizing on mistakes. And things that you may not even deem as a mistake, and it's them ones there in it. Like you're looking at your coach, your coach is looking at you like annoyed, like why did you do that? And you're thinking, but I just did what we spoke about. I just did what we planned to do. But even in that, and of course there's risk in every single technique that you throw, but she's just that good at punishing. Do you know what I mean? Any errors.
I think that she has like I said, a good mix. And I think again, if she makes it, it's going to be fantastic. Because again, it doesn't mean that we won't see Bettina Plank through the qualification tournament or through another means, but again, it's another element, and I think a diverse element is what's going to produce the best general viewing. Like, you want to see Angelica go out and try 8-0. You want to see Sarah scrap someone, because people from the outside might say, oh yeah, it's a bit semi-contact, it's a bit pretty, it's a bit this and that. When you put her in there and you see her, and the gears come off at one shoulder, the foot pads flew off, there's a cut under an eye because she's literally with that Jodan Gak, and you're thinking, all right, cool, these women are tough. Like, it's not just all fancy. There's a bit of grit and a bit of clout there. And I think that viewers and just the neutrals will love it.
Definitely, man. So the last fighter that we have that qualified for the lightweight section of the Olympic Games initially is Miho Miyahara from Japan, -50. So let's start off by looking at her medals overview. So we see that she's got a junior continental gold, junior world level, she's got a silver and 2 bronzes. Series A, she's got 2 golds. K1 level, she's got 1 bronze, 3 silvers, 5 gold medals. Continental level, she's got a silver and a gold. And World Championships, she's got a silver and a gold. And we know that she's made 2 World Championship finals back-to-back, 2016 and 18. Lost in 16, rectified it in 18, took the gold medal, you know.
It's consistency at the highest level. And again, like you say, people, what do you want? What do you want out of the sport? Do you want to be consistent for a year and get the K1 Grand Winner? Do you want to be inconsistent, win the Europeans? Do you want to be inconsistent, win the World?
Well,
but can you be consistent over a 2-3 year span when it really matters?
Podium percentage is 60%. So she's up there. She's up there with the best of them, even pound for pound.
And I think again, the ones that we spoke about, you can see why they're in their section. They're leaps and bounds above their section.
That's an understatement, because the podium percentage of -50 again is 38.2. So she nearly doubled, man.
And this is what I'm saying.
That is actually 38.2 is actually also the average of all the female competitors ranked at a top 10.
And this is what I'm saying again. How much her weight management and her ability to be consistent is a factor, because we know at the lighter weights it's a struggle, but to do time and time again.
But do you know what? It's so interesting that you mentioned that, because I think that she must regulate her energy so well, because out of everyone that I've seen, she has to throw the most techniques per fight.
It's like a machine gun.
I don't know this for facts. Actually, do you know what? Hopefully we get there, innit, where we know them kind of things.
You have to do a breakdown. You have to slow it down, because it's like punch, and you're thinking, wow.
But even when she's not stringing techniques together, so even when she's not banging out combinations, like I'm talking, she will go clash after clash, like Hajime bow, Like, I'm talking going off the line. Like,
And
no fear. I haven't seen like a more courageous fighter than Miho.
This is what I'm saying. You know, when you talk about outstanding characteristic, that is very hard. And to be on the receiving end when you're not used to it, you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
1 out of them 25 clashes, you're going to make a mistake, and she's going to score points.
Yeah. You know what impresses me about her the most? I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching the mixes and some videos, I don't know what kind of plyometrics training she's doing, yeah. But gee, this woman is so explosive. Like when she comes for her kazami, yeah, like her touch time with the floor is so minimal. It's like she's floating, and then she just explodes. It's like she's in a slingshot. Like the way in which she shoots off, and I think sometimes she concedes quite. Her conceding average in 2020 was 11, which is high. It's higher than the average. You know, it's nearly double. 2019 again, she conceded on average 8.4 points, which again was above all of the averages. She concedes a lot because she takes a lot of risk. She has a lot of exchanges. She's very explosive. I think sometimes she may go from too far. Yeah. And that's where she gets picked off when she goes too far. But she often is fighting fighters that are taller than her also. But sometimes she could go from quite far, which is normally where she loses her points. Like, because she's got very good evasive skills, when she loses points, it's not that people are like taking points off her. And there's a difference to someone taking points off you and you losing points when you're trying to score points or execute something, etc. in it. But again, just to come back to her physicality, the explosiveness, like the speed, the power is mad impressive. The kazami gasses me. Like the kazami's mad long, bro. Yeah, the kazami's so long that then she's got this double. Like, and it's a Japanese style double, like it's mad direct, mad sharp, but the kazami is so elite that it forces you to have to move it out the way. Like, it's not even a parry slip situation. Like, the kazami is that levels, yeah. She has to have one of the best kazamis, like, in the division. The kazami is that elite that she forces you to have to move it. And then it's so textbook. Then you move it, and the second one just literally is there. And she literally the distance between the two is minimal, innit? And she's got an amazing Chudan Gak as well. Her Chudan Gak is so cold, yeah. Like she does this thing where she'll hover on the biting point. Yeah. You feel me? Like that biting point, like just outside of your opponent's distance, she'll hover on it, and she'll take her second bounce. Like the second bounce in her motion, just so she's hovering, builds that anticipation, feels them coming, and when they come, drops under, yeah? Just to highlight like how elite her arsenal is. She was in a final against Serap Ozcelik. The final that has gone from my mind. It was a K1 final, and Serap went up quite early in the fight. It must have been like 6-7-0. And then all of a sudden she just switched gears. And like she scored like 3-4 Chudan Gaks in a row. Now, it's not just that you've scored 3-4 Chudan Gaks in a row in a final, yeah? It's who you've scored them on. Yeah. Because you've scored the same technique 3 times in a row in one of the most elite female competitors pound for pound. Like, Serap knows how to deal with a Chudan Gak. Yeah. Because she's been dealing with them for how many decades? That's normal. Yeah. So that just shows the caliber of the technique and the setup that comes with it. It's not just the Chudan Gak. This is what jars me. When we're talking about techniques at this level, everyone can do everything. Yeah. More time. If you had a checklist and you said Urma wash, counter Urma wash, everyone's got it. Yeah. Nice angles, bendy ones, wrap round, them ones. Yeah, trick kicks, they got it. Everyone's got it. Kazamis, Chudan Gaks, double Jordans, triples, break the line. Yeah. Everyone's got it in the dojo. Yeah. In the dojo. But you got to bring that to tatami. Yeah. You feel me? And the fact that she's able to execute that so consistently, and again against that level of competition as well. Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Listen, I wasn't going to interrupt you there because I could feel the love.
Hey, listen.
I could feel the passion and the love.
Nah, she's 30, man.
For me, when I watch her, I feel like you say, this explosion. And the most impressive thing is it can be on the front foot and on the back foot. She's got a unique way of going backward and exploding forward.
Yeah.
And that's what no one anticipates, the fact that she can go back and explode forward.
And that's why I said the slingshot thing, like,
it's catching people cold and they don't know. And I think you look at the historic Japanese style with these straight lines and this angle, and you try and break it down to how you can beat it. And I think the agileness is crazy.
Yeah.
Like how agile they can be and how, like you say, about the contact with the floor and the movement and the angles, they're so niche. When I go to Europe, I'm not going to see that.
Yeah, it's
the
true.
only
It's
way I'm
so
going to
true.
see it is when I watch or when I go and I'm fighting someone from that continent or that country.
100%.
And again, when you put someone in front of it, yeah, that flashy, bendy Urim wash might work in the dojo, but when someone's coming direct at you're in a direct line that you've never seen,
it's
that
kind of like a
Urim
train.
is missing. That's going overheads.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, okay, but again, with the evolution of technology and footage is out there and it's circulating, but she's still able to do this. And I mean, 2020, 100% podium percentage it speaks volumes. Like wherever she goes, like you say, the intensity, the stamina, the ability to clash and clash
the durability.
And again, every clash is physical, so you've got to be physical with it, but you've got to have the energy and the no fear to be going, okay, yeah, I'm going in. And even when she loses points, she looked like she got the point because she's so happy. She looked like
I'm not gonna lie, that's something like all the Japanese fighters, I find, look like they have the most fun when they're competing. Ayaka Tadano, she fights in the same category, -50, she takes points off people and just smiles, like, how are you thinking, like, and she got this mad point as well, she's got this counter, where she almost, like, hops back and has a counter Kazami. And it's like textbook for her. You can see it, like, she's got that much trust in it that she don't care who she's in front of, like, this is gonna land, innit? Like, it's gonna land. And then as soon as it lands, the smile just comes in there, and you're just like, these actually look like they're having the most fun.
And this is what I'm saying, it's about, I think that more is linked to the culture, and again, obviously the history of karate with Japan, and the way the country accepts it, and again, from what I know, allegedly, and from what I've heard, it's prominent in schools, and you have school karate competitions. You leave your school at 2 o'clock and you go into a next school to fight. Like some karate kid business.
Yeah, no, like
fight man in his own school.
That's like one of them sport animes. Like if you watch any sport anime, Kuroko no Basket, all of them ones major. Like sports in high school is serious.
That's what I'm saying. In England, it's only a football thing or something like that you get them privileges, but take it, and then obviously the depth of competition, because it's that ingrained as a national sport.
Yeah.
Your national championships, your individual section could be on 2 days.
Yeah.
That's how many rounds you got to go through. So again, anyone who we do see emerge from there,
you know, innit, has to be levels already. Like already, just the fact that they're here, you know that they've been through a mazza.
And even if you're at time, and if you just whacked up their sport day and look at their athletes, some athletes will only have 2 competitions, but they'll have 2 medals.
Isn't it? That's so true.
So it's like
you know, you think about all them, sorry to cut you off, but you think about all of them juniors that you see, at junior championships that took gold medals, and then like how many years later you think to yourself, I wonder, have I just missed them? Like, have they been doing their thing, but they've just missed my radar? And you go into their sport data, and that competition was the last competition. Like, they only went to 2 junior world championships, but they bagged 2 gold medals. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Or you get somewhere they have that, and then they disappear, and then it's like 6 years later, and then you see them again, boom, and you're thinking, wow,
levels.
Again, the level of depth. And I think the Asian countries have a lot more depth, but when she comes out, she performs. Finals out of medals, she performs.
Yeah.
We're talking high 90s. Even if you equate that across everything, it counts, and it's like saying that her competitive edge is this energy, this ability to fight fearless, happy, joyful techniques. And again, I'm going to throw you the question: how do you beat that?
So I'm going to answer that question, but brother, are you deep in that stat? Nah. Finals made percentage, 93.3. What that means, is that out of all of her performances that were podium level, out of all of the performances that she's had that resulted in her getting a medal, which is 15. 14 of them performances are finals. Like, we don't do no bronzes. Like, and even on top of that, she wins 64.3% of her finals as well.
And you know what? The term generally is, late in the fight and you're losing, you throw the kitchen sink. She's already thrown out the whole kitchen in minute 1. She ain't got nothing left to throw, but she's still throwing. She's going somewhere. She's going to the next room and she's throwing something else in.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's that repetition and that conditioning to repetition where people struggle to deal with it.
Yeah.
So again, this is my question to you. What is the game plan when you know you've got someone from Hajime to every young
I'm not gonna lie.
He's gonna be on you.
She is a problem. Like, she is a big problem. And I think, like, one of the things that I appreciate about her the most is her confidence. Like you'll see her spring with 2 Kazamis, and both of them might be a fraction short, and her opponent may have countered it. And you think normally that person, they may allow the Kazami now. They're gonna transition onto, they're gonna move to another technique that they got hidden away. Bro, she'll come off the line again, Kazami, but this time she went deeper. This time, she lit them before they even got to block it. Like, her confidence in all of her techniques and her karate is so encompassing. Like, she's such a multifaceted fighter. There's not many techniques that she doesn't have in her arsenal. Yeah. She goes Chudan, she goes Jordan with the single, she goes Jordan with the double. She's got legs that she picks up when she needs to. Do you get what I'm saying? And sorry, on top of that, she does something that's so techie. She got that thing that she does. She'll throw Kazami, but like the hand will come up after to cover. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and a lot of people have started doing it more recently. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people that are just bringing up their hands and covering up. Yeah, that's cool. Like, you get into a clinch, and the first thing you do is cover up. Okay, cool, fair enough, innit? She'll cover up mid technique. Like, she go Kazami and cover. Like, but to the extent where, like, the technique is still A1, 10 out of 10, bro. Like, she hit someone. I seen her hit someone with Kazami, and floor them. But, like, the hands still came up. And you think, like, how have you even got, like, fast twitch fibers are mad. Like, how have you even got the speed? How have you even got the ability to do that? You get me? And especially, like, everyone trying to counter the Kazamis with these head kicks, like, they're in. And then the moment that the leg comes up, she's already there, man. She is too techie, man. Come on.
You still haven't given me the game plan to win this.
Bro, I ain't got one,
I'm your fighter. I'm going in there and I'm looking at you and you're just...
You got problems, bro. I'm looking at you. Got problems, man. You need to give me an answer. You got problems. You give them an answer, because I'm telling you now that you got a problem. You got a problem. Look, the best bet that you have, is the fact that sometimes she does go from too far. Yeah. So you need to manipulate the distance. You need to pull her and make her think that you're close enough for her to spring. Yeah. And once she does that, you draw her back and you go in. When she does concede points, that is, to be fair, look, when she concedes points, she normally concedes them in the same way. Yeah. So you can see how to take points off her. What's she conceding on average? 8.4. 2019, 8.4 techniques she was conceding. So again, above average. Yeah, 2020, 11. So, but she concedes above average, and that is because that is when she goes too early or from too far and she's countered. So the game plan is very simple. The problem with Miho Miyahara is not taking points off her. I'm gonna say that twice. Yeah, the problem with Miho is not scoring points. It's stopping her from scoring. So I can give you a game plan of how you're gonna take points off her. That's cool. Yeah, just pull her when she comes, ride it back, take it. Yeah. But when she transitions now into second gear, plan B, plan C, that's different now. Because like I said, she's so multifaceted. Like, she's coming with different things. She's got a high level of adaptability mid-fight. And again, still with that momentum to just go clash after clash after clash.
And I think that's the key bit, because most of the people we spoke about, it's a problem to stop them from scoring points. But even to dig deeper on your answer there, I think the problem is to stop her from creating the opportunities. Because the top tier athletes can always score points. Yeah. But if there was a stat of created opportunities, like in football, like there's a created opportunity. Her would be phenomenal, because she's creating that many chances. That law of averages says she's gonna get. She's gonna,
She has to be throwing the most techniques out of everybody. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I've watched enough of her fights now to make that deduction. Clash City, like.
Yeah,
and sorry, to answer your question as well, I can tell you right now, if you have a fighter now that's up against her and you're asking what do they need to do to get the win, I can tell you right now, if their physical conditioning, their durability, their stamina is not in check, they are not winning that fight. you cannot win that fight against Miho without your fitness being intact.
Okay, yeah.
There's no way.
So
You're
first.
You're gassing out first after the first half of the fight. You're gassing out.
And again, I think that ties in well with the finals medals percentage because again, it's a long day.
Yes.
And once you got to that 5th or 6th fight, the gas tank is almost flashing. It's getting there. It's under a quarter.
It's blinking.
But not blinking yet. Like, you know that.
Oh, it's not.
You're not there, but
okay.
you're on the way. Like,
Yeah.
you start the day full, and you're getting there, but it's not blinking yet.
Yeah, you're starting to become a bit more calculated about your clashes now. Like, yeah.
And then you meet someone whose gas tank is still over half.
Yes.
So you know, I can pedal this because what you tell me after I do this one, I can have a break. All right.
Isn't it? And I know, when they changed the times for the female competitors, 2-minute bouts to 3 minutes, I know Miho didn't bat no eyelids. She really wait, innit? More time. More time, more points. Get me? More time, more points.
Coach, I think it is, we really have to, it's difficult because obviously the karate game is a knockout system. It's not a one person, multiple bouts where you can prep for one person, but the game plan for her has to be, we have to have prepped for continual clashes, but on techniques of Kazami and Kazami gap nature. And we need to find a consistent counter for this engagement. And my expectation is not that you throw it every engagement, because if I draw it back to sort of the way I used to fight, especially in my warm-ups, I'll let you lace me with the same technique 5 times, and I'll even let you hit me the first 2.
Just to see it.
Just so I know what I'm getting myself into,
Yeah,
and then I can devise my plan.
Yeah.
So when I'm sending my athlete out there, them first 2 engages, make them void. Yeah? But I need you to analyse quickly the pattern. I know she's going to adapt, and I know she's going to adapt, but if we get the fundamentals of the clash patterns, okay, this 3rd one, give it to me. Give me it. You know it's coming, because there's no point in looking back at me. We know what she's going to do. Give it to me, If it works or it doesn't work, we know she's coming again anyway. So you're going to have multiple bites at this cherry. And I need us to work in a way where we've got a big score in one of these counters or one of these clashes that we're going to have. Because then it will void. If we're 2 or 3 down and she comes and clashes and you get that big score, we're back at 0. But I also need you to put her on the back foot. Because she's so comfortable, confident coming forward. Yes, she's confident going back. But again, when a person with a big gas tank, 90% of her fight is going to be fought on the front foot. Put her on the back foot, And I need you, it's very complicated, but I need you still to reserve, because that last minute, I need you to bang for bang with her, with that intensity. So if that means you need a power bar, or you need a Gatorade, or you need a Powerade, or you need a massage, or you need a banana, or you need something before, even if it's one of them little glucose tablets, you need something before we get on that mat. I need you, when it gets to 2 minutes, I need you to be ready, because it's going to get tough. And you look around at me at 2 minutes and I'll give you that nod to say, this isn't hard. And I think that's the problem, because competing now is a lot about scoring points, being safe. Yeah. She presses that heart button. Yeah. And if your heart is not ready,
I'd be interested to see, because the thing is, she clashes a lot, but she can only clash with competitors that are also willing to clash.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see someone dedicate their time in the duration of the fight just trying to make her miss. I want to see what happens. I want to see how far this can go.
I think it's again from experience and having that kind of mindset myself. It's very difficult.
Because I was going to say that is a very you tactic. Yeah, but do you know what it is? I feel like because when you used to do it and other fighters that execute that tactic very well, not really a tactic, more a strategy actually. Every time you make someone miss, it diminishes their confidence.
Yeah, but I don't think that happens.
That's just what I'm saying. Like, she's crazy, bro. Like, she's so confident. Yeah, you can make her miss like 20 times. She still knows. Like, I remember. It was at one of my pops' boot camps. And obviously Alexander Biamonti was one of the coaches. And he said something like, what did he say? I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but he said like when he's in a bout, when he's in a fight. Even if he goes down, he's not stressed because he feels like eventually I'm
gonna get you.
These legs are gonna catch you. Like let's say eventually, like it might not be now, it might not be my next attempt, but it might say eventually I'm gonna catch you. And I feel like it's one of them ones, like, again, with a lot of fighters, you make them miss and the confidence in their techniques diminishes. They start overthinking their distance, overcompensating. They're drawing me out. I need to get closer. That's when the opponents start springing and they start getting caught. But with Miho, I don't think that's the case. Like, she's that secure in her ability. She's that. I'm not sure if it comes down to self-reflection, but she knows herself as a fighter. Do you know what I mean? She knows, and she has that much self-belief that I think even if you implemented a strategy like that, like, right, for the first 2 minutes of this 3-minute fight, I'm just going to make her miss. Yeah. I'm just going to hold her, press her, and when she comes, I'm going to hold her, yeah, spin her out. Get me? But even if you were running it, like, I don't even think, like...
I think the unnoted nation of that tactic, works on the power of anticipation.
Facts.
And to anticipate, you have to have a lot of data, because you need to know tendencies and tactics. And again, on one-to-one basis, I can divulge you fighters that I've fought or I've trained with, and I could tell you techniques and strategies, and you'll think I'm telepathic. I could tell you, without watching them fight, and they're fighting, the technique that they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and the position. And I think with her, you could only probably do that for a minute and a half. Because what would start to happen is you'll start to slow down. And because of her nature of the ability to go to chain, clash, and then in each clash go 1, 2, okay, you're not there, 3, 4, 5, 6, and run you down. It's only 8x8, there's not much space you can go. So what you would have to do was you would have to almost, for lack of a better term, Queen's Gambit her. You'd have to put her in a scenario that you pre-set up 3 or 4 moves in advance to know, okay, I'm going to go that way, this one, then the next one I'm going to go that, and then I'm going to go that, counter, boom. Because then what that will do as well is it will take away 30 unique clashes and make them into 7 or 8 controlled longer clashes. Which again, when I've seen highlights or I've watched fights against her, against Serap and that, again, prepared for this multiple gauge. So some of 3 or 4 of these clashes, she's just going in full defensive. But on that 5th one, or on that next 7th one, or on that 13th one, that's my opportunity, and that's where I'm going to get it. I would prepare my athlete by analysing her tendency to score in each clash, because I would reckon it'll be consistent. So her first clash will probably be good, then her 3rd, then her 5th, then her 7th. But again, okay, these are the ones where we don't want to engage. But that 4th one, that's what you want there, because she's still trying to work it out, because you've adjusted, she's still in her adjustment phase, and you can capitalise. But again, it's a lot of work for one person. And especially to try to fit that in around having to fight a Serap in the following round, or having to fight a Bettina Plank in the round before, and a Rachia in the round before that.
Active.
The person who can do that, world class.
Yeah.
Olympic champion. You might as well call them the Olympic champion from now. But I'm just saying it's a tough task, and obviously she gets host nation privileges, so she's automatic qualification. But she's still racked up what she in the Olympic ranking, ranked 4th. Yeah. And again, from someone who doesn't have to go out and compete, to just go out
and still
make mash work,
no
make
pressure
your finals,
as well. Formidable.
And it shows again. And even if you look at her profile picture, she's got a smile on her face.
I know.
Most of these people try and do business in their profile picture. She's come out.
She's just having fun, you know. She's just having fun, you know. Formidable competitor. So that is the end of this episode 1 of the Mushin Karate podcast / show. Obviously, we have just discussed all the lightweight female competitors that had initially qualified for the Olympic Games. So we hope you enjoyed listening and watching. Please follow us on Instagram, Mushin_karate_. Gavin's socials will also be down at the bottom. Obviously,
come on, you got to plug your things.
Do your thing there as well. And and again, please like, comment, share, subscribe. And again, like we said in the introductory episode, we're really just trying to build a community here of people that are passionate about karate and are willing to share that passion and opinions. So definitely, please get involved when you can. And we hope to lock in with you guys again soon.
All I can say, for me, I'm proud to be here. You know, I've got a lot to share and a wealth of knowledge, and I just want to grow and develop. And for me, fighting, coaching, commentating, sitting on the sideline, helping you analyse, that's passion, and I think as well, let's grow Mushin, let's grow karate. Let's really put it on the platform it deserves. And I think like there's no yame in it in karate, is there really?
There's about to be. Sir, you put that camera on me. Watch it now. Yame. Wow. Sir.